Hello, everybody. We're going to get started in just a couple of minutes. Can I ask, who is the person whose name is presented as meeting host? Can you hear me? Alan, Doug, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hello, Henry, Linda. Hello.
Hi, Mateo.
Hello.
Linda.
Can I ask who is that has joined as meeting host?
Could it have been me?
I don't know. I started the meeting, so I'm meeting host. I just changed my name to be my name.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't do anything different.
All right.
Mystery.
I'll bet on Henry. Just because you look guilty, Henry.
This is interesting.
You're double, Mateo.
No, this is Miriam. I
Miriam,
signed into the wrong account. I'm gonna sign out and sign back in.
Oh, okay. Running too many meetings. Yeah, I always forget to log out of the town Zoom account. Surprised when I try to log in to teach. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3. Oh, shoot. So Rita just emailed to say they lost power.
Not surprising, but
All right, bear with me. I have to check something really quickly.
Linda, are the trees down at your end of Baker? Because there's a police car somewhere between us and you
Oh,
with lights flashing.
I didn't notice.
It's up over the hill probably from you.
Yeah, I saw, a small limb come down, but
Oh,
it didn't go in the road. So, yeah. Well, I'll have to peer out.
I don't know what they're doing there. There have been cars going by, so I assumed it wasn't shut the road down. You seen anything, Henry?
No, have not.
No.
No, nothing out of the ordinary.
So, oh wait, here we go. Oh, Rita's joining us by phone. Great.
Oh,
They're
good.
gone now. They're
All right.
gone now.
Now we have a quorum. All right. Well, seeing that we have a quorum and it's
Lights are
7:02,
all gone.
Well, the lights are gone on the road.
I'm gonna call this meeting of the Shutesbury CPC to order. We're meeting remotely in the midst of a blizzard and a pandemic. So great start to 2023. Everybody's participating remotely. Mateo, Alan, Henry, Rita. And so now, Linda, your resignation took effect after the last meeting. So that's why I was hoping Rita could join us. Otherwise, we wouldn't have the quorum.
I know, I know. So I'm here as a guest now. So I just thought I'd, come for a little while, have my last meeting with everybody.
Thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
And I hope you are all well and safe wherever you are. We'll try to move through this meeting quickly. First, I want to sort of apologize for the confusion and the technical problems with our previous meeting. There was some crossing of messages in terms of which Zoom accounts we were going to be able to use and starting the Zoom account on time. And so we had to reschedule to today.
Don't worry
Mateo-
about it. Don't worry
Mateo-
about it, Mateo. It's happened before.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mateo, can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear us, Rita?
Yeah, I'm just in the dark here. Literally, my power went out at 7 o'clock.
Oh, oh, gosh.
So I'm here in the dark
I'm
with
sorry.
my 2-year-old granddaughter who's totally freaked out. God. Okay, well, anyway, do we have enough?
We have a quorum now, yeah.
All right.
So we'll proceed to the first item on the agenda in terms of the minutes of December 15th. Is there a motion?
I move that we approve the minutes of December 15th.
Second,
Any discussion? All right. Any opposition? Or we have to vote on these by, okay. Alan,
hey, aye.
Henry,
I,
Rita,
Aye.
Mateo, aye. All right. Sorry, I'm taking minutes here myself. Okay, next item on the agenda, the Historic Guide Board project. There's been some developments and discussion in the with the Historical Commission about this project, and it was thought good to possibly have an update from Henry and Miriam about what is going on. Henry, do you want to sort of break the ice on this one for us?
we, as a commission are going to meet to discuss this. I think that, yeah, the meeting with the select board unfortunately did not go as well as we'd hoped. And that will have to be another meeting, I suppose. Miriam, do you have anything else to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't get to go to that meeting. I listened to the recording. I think the question that I think we had for the select board didn't get clarified, which was, well, maybe it did. The question was really, would the town want to create some sort of sheltered location for the guide board as a museum exhibit? Really was the question, but it seemed like there was a general sense that that was not the direction that the town wanted to go in, that they'd prefer to see it restored and maintained on town common. So I've been in communication with the vendors that we're considering using, and they're going to be providing an updated bid sometime in the next week. Hopefully, I don't know if we'll have it by Wednesday, but the plan would be that we would review it and then make a recommendation and then go back to the select board for their approval. Does that sound like the right process, Rita? Yes, it does. And so the tack will be to look at a restoration as originally planned.
Okay. So there's no need then for any kind of further action from the CPC in terms of amending the grant agreement or anything.
I don't think so.
All right. Great, thank you. If there's no further discussion about that item, we can move on to lot R15. Lot R15.
Did it close today, Miriam? I think it was supposed to close. It's supposed to close on Wednesday on the 25th, but I did meet with Donna and Kestrel and their attorney on Friday. and they were working out all the closing documents. So the
Right.
money is all in place and things are moving forward. I think the question now for the CPC is to get some guidance about this $5,000 and how this should get handled.
So, yeah, so the amount that ended up coming out of the CPC was $5,000 short, or not short, but less than what had been authorized, because the remaining 5,000 was set aside for the parking in the proposal. And I guess the implication that I was getting, right, Miriam, you can correct me here, but is that since the Conservation Commission is going to be essentially taking care of this site, administering it, then that we should work out a way to make sure that the Conservation Commission ends up with that $5,000 towards the parking, correct?
Well, that's our hope. The question I wasn't clear about was whether Donna McNichol was saying we needed to have a new town meeting vote. Because the warrant, it was confusing just for folks to understand. The warrant article that was approved at the annual town meeting approved $50,000 for the purchase. It didn't break it down in the way it should have. 45,000 for the purchase and 5,000 for the parking lot. And so I don't know where that stands. Do you?
I don't. I mean, and so my understanding reading that warrant article that the town approved is that it would not be in line with that article to provide the money to the Conservation Commission for the parking, because it expressly says in the article to Kestrel Trust, which means that of the $50,000 that was approved for Kestrel Trust, only 45 was spent. 5,000 ends up back with the CPC, and I think that, you know, I think it would be it would be unnecessary to ask for another grant proposal from the Conservation Commission to approve the parking after we've already voted on it and approved the parking in the original proposal. I think that the sort of most expeditious course of action would be to draft a new warrant article. Excuse me, sorry, somebody just re-entered the room. An article expressly stating, you know, that we would spend, or that the town would spend $5,000, basically transferring it to the Conservation Commission expressly for that purpose. Alan?
Matteo, I'd like it officially on the record that I am recusing myself from any discussion of the R15 lot.
You got it.
And I'm sorry, I can't raise my hand here. You can't see me, but I agree. I think we don't need another proposal. We can simply put an article on the warrant, and we should, maybe at our next meeting, vote that that's what we're going to do, allot the $5,000 to the Conservation Commission based on the original application. And then we'll have an article on town meeting warrant to that effect.
Do you need a letter? Would it help to have a letter from the Conservation Commission making that request?
Sure. Yeah, real simple, Miriam. You don't need to.
Yeah,
Just
no,
for the
I
record.
just think that given that the application is something different, and there should be something that people can refer to.
Some documentation. Sure, that sounds great. If you can
Sure.
do that, and based on that, I think we could vote at the next meeting to have that as an article.
Right. So yeah, I have some draft language for a warrant article, and I'll send that out before the next meeting, and then share it at the meeting. And essentially what we're doing is we're going to take the 5,000 and split it equally between the Open Space Recreation Fund and the budgeted reserve fund. So it's coming equally out of the two parts that were used to fund the original article.
Sure.
Overall, no change in spending. Right. So I'll send that out before the next meeting. Are there any other points of discussion on this item? All right. Seeing none, and we will move on expeditiously in the interest of Rita's phone battery. To item 4, which is any questions or comments to be shared with the committee from potential grant applicants. I suppose that we will take these in the order that we receive the determinations of eligibility, which would be if there is a member from the Cemetery Commission who would like to make any brief comments or pose any questions to the committee about a potential application from them about the West Cemetery project.
Well, I think there are 2 of us here, Susan Millinger speaking, and I think everything's under control in terms of our grant application, and we hope to have it into you soon. We have a letter we're waiting for, and other than that, we're ready to go. Does Walter have anything?
I don't have any questions unless somebody from the committee has questions for us. I think, we've got pretty much all our ducks in a row. We've got valid costs for the work that we want to do. There might be a slight, change in, because she didn't identify, was it 42, 43 stones? We're trying to do about half of that, and it may depend on really how, the cost of each different stone. The larger ones obviously are more, the smaller ones obviously are less. So we might be able to do, the number may change of stones that the work will be done on, but the cost will, we're looking for just, half the whole project now, and we'll do half at a later date. But I think everything else is pretty well set. You're just waiting, Susan, what, for the letter from the Friends or the Historical Commission? Is that?
Historical Commission, Miriam tells me it'll be in soon.
Okay. Yeah, other than that, I think we have everything in order, unless anybody from the committee or public has a question on what we're looking to do.
Are there any questions from any of the committee members?
No,
No? Well, and Walter, is this, or Susan, is this the same, would this be the same person or company that was contracted for the previous work? Yeah.
Yes, it would be. It's the same conservator. She works out of New Salem, so she's close by. We've done some other work with her before, and very well respected, very good quality work. So we were more than happy with the work that she did before. And I'm not sure if you've seen a copy of what the report that we get back, but it's a very detailed bound report that has pictures of before, what they look like after the restoration, what was done to each stone, and any other information about the stone itself. And we have that both electronically and printed.
We'll be including a copy with our application.
All right.
So the ones that were done during the preliminary evaluation of the technique they're actually gorgeous. I don't know if anybody's seen them, but they're very good looking.
Thank you,
I've
Alan.
I've never been to the cemetery. Got to take a tour.
Yeah,
As soon as the snow is gone, maybe we can do a little site visit.
Sure. We'd love to take you through if necessary. And
Yeah, great.
show you what we've done. Yep.
This spring.
And you can have in hand tomorrow's list of the stones that she's identified as most needing work.
Oh, good.
Are there any other questions or comments from the committee? All right, seeing none, we'll move on to the next potential applicant.
Thank you very much.
Doug, from Amherst Regional Schools. You want to tell us a little bit about what the project proposal might be, and if you have any questions for the committee?
Sure, be happy to. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Doug Slaughter. I'm the finance director for the Amherst Pelham Regional School District, as well as the Amherst and the Pelham Elementary Schools. And so we have a fairly large recreational open space kind of recreational project that we're bringing to you. And this is one piece of a fairly complex project that we wanted to start a couple of years ago and then kind of pull back on when the pandemic hit. And so what we're looking to do is reorient the track and to do a number of field improvements, both interior to the track as well as in the surrounding areas of that. And so it's a pretty large project. We're using some funding through our capital process in the regional school district. We're also there's some extensive fundraising going on. I've made requests of each of the CPC committees in all 4 towns, and varying levels of comfort or discomfort with that. So we're looking for various funding to help move this project forward for us. And so I think that I'm happy to answer any questions anyone has or anything in particular around this, because it would sit in the town of Amherst. So it is kind of an interesting project in that regard. It's not actually in Shutesbury proper, but it does promote and help with open space and recreation facilities for kids that are Shutesbury residents and anybody. It's an open to the public area. So once the facility is not in use, for school related things, it is available for general public use. So obviously that's something that's helpful if people are in town for other reasons here in Amherst, but obviously that does raise concerns for folks. So I'm happy to answer any questions. If there's things that you guys as a CPC are most interested in seeing in the application, I'd love to know what those are so I can focus on those as I put the materials together. So anything like that.
Alan?
The only comment I have, Doug, is we got to be really careful about very carefully delineating how the money's going to be used, because we ran into this last time.
Yep.
So we just got to be careful.
Absolutely, and so yeah, there are aspects of the project that are not eligible for CPC or
Right.
community preservation funds. So that absolutely would be a part of the accounting we need to do. And if there are restrictions that you guys as a community want to place, oftentimes if it's in your own community, you'll put certain kinds of restrictions on, like with historic preservation, you might put a historic preservation restriction on a deed, that kind of thing. If there's something like that, we're going to want to know that so we can put those pieces together and work through that with our legal staff and that sort of stuff. But yeah, certainly we want to be very, very cautious to not run afoul of the Community Preservation Act.
Right.
Are there other?
I had just one comment, sorry, from the darkness here. So Doug, I think probably what will be most important in the application is, and I'm sure you would be doing this regardless, is just an accounting for all the sources, because I know you're piecing together lots of different pots of money. So not only what they are, but what the status is, because I know there's been private fundraising. So it would be important for us to know, are all the other sources in place that you need.
Right. I'll give you a little preview. They won't all be in place.
Okay.
Several are, but not everything is. And so yours, among others, will be, in flux as we go through the spring and yeah, but I can definitely articulate what is or is not sort of firmly in place versus, requests that have been made versus, any other sort of status that we have. So happy to do that. Absolutely.
Okay. Great. Thanks.
Are there any other questions from the committee?
Appreciate your time this evening.
Yeah, I realize this may be a little premature, but given that we just had a special town meeting where the town voted to spend a considerable amount of money on taking care of a PFAS problem, I'm wondering, and I think where my question is leading, about whether decisions have been made about the question of artificial turf versus natural turf, or is that something that will be decided at a later point before the application is submitted?
I think at this point, it is fairly determined. The school committee has voted. It wasn't unanimous, but it was a majority vote to move ahead with an artificial surface. But I think that there are lots of concerns have been raised about PFAS, and certainly is on people's minds. And I think the fundraising has been such that the folks that are doing sort of private fundraising through the hurricane boosters, the Athletic Boosters group, has been really pushing for using materials and finding materials that are either PFAS free or very low, or without it altogether. I think it's an evolving area of development from a product standpoint, but also I think there are some options that may be available that'll significantly mitigate, if not completely reduce, those factors. But and I'll bring together the information as best I have it as to what we have, but that's not, the school committee hasn't at this point sort of articulated any particular point of view on that. I think that they'd all like to see as little of that in the final materials as possible. So I think that I think we're all working towards the same general end. Whether that'll be sufficient for you guys or for the town of Shutesbury, we'll have to see how people's comfort level plays out a little bit. But I can definitely sort of reference sources that I know at this point. But it is that artificial surface is part of the project at this point, and will remain so in the foreseeable short term.
Thank you. Did you have any questions for the committee?
I don't think so. I think the kinds of things I needed from you guys, I've gotten from what you've asked and what you've said. So that's greatly appreciated, and I look forward to seeing you guys a little later in the spring to talk about this some more.
Great.
Thanks, Doug.
Thank you all.
Are there any other items of business, or are there other potential grant applicants who are attending that had questions for the committee? All right, well, seeing none, then I will move on to item 5. Just as a reminder again, that grant applications are due at the end of January, which is this week, stunningly enough. I feel like this month is just weirdly flown by. So just as a reminder, those grant applications are due both electronically and in print. And we will be meeting again in February for our next meeting. Before we adjourn, I did want to just offer an official thank you to Linda for her years of service on the CPC, representing the CPC's mission and on also the best interests of the people of Shutesbury. And also just on a personal note, like, as the new chair of the committee, she has been for me extremely, extremely gracious and generous with sharing of institutional knowledge and documents and advice. And so I'm deeply grateful. And yeah.
I'd like to second that too, Linda, because when I was president, whenever I didn't know something, which was most of the time, you were the one who always had the right answer. So thank you very much for all your help. And I certainly appreciate it.
And I third that.
And we're
Linda,
going to miss you. I'm sorry.
yeah, we are going to miss you. Yep. We could always call on Linda. Dependable. She remembered everything. So yeah, that institutional knowledge was incredibly valuable.
Thank you, everyone. It's certainly been, just wonderful to be a member of the CPC over the years that I've served, and working with each of you and all the applicants over time. I will miss working with you, because it's a delightful committee. Being able to help do things for the town that benefit everyone. So thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no other points of discussion or business, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
We have to vote on this, don't we? Okay.
Yeah.
Alan,
Yeah,
And-
I'm sorry. I was still thinking about what Linda's contribution to this committee has been. Aye.
Henry,
Aye.
I almost said Linda. Rita,
Aye.
Theo, aye. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you all, and thank you very much, Linda, for everything.
You're welcome. Bye, everybody.
Good
Take good
Stay
care.
safe, everybody.
Bye.
Good night.
I-